In every heist crew, there is one person who will betray the others. Not might, will. The question is not whether, the question is the math. How much money makes a loyal person disloyal? How much fear makes a brave person talk? How much time between the job and the split before someone decides that their percentage is an insult? There is a formula. It is not written down, but every crew that has ever divided a bag in a room has solved it, most of them incorrectly. Trust divided by greed. The answer is always less than one. This video is about the people at that table and the roles they played to get there. Level 1. The driver. You are sitting in a stolen car. Not stolen by you, stolen by someone you have never met and will never meet. Delivered to a parking structure with the keys in the wheel well and a quarter tank of gas. You sit. The engine is running. Your mirrors are adjusted. Your seatbelt is off because a seatbelt costs you 1.4 seconds in an exit, and 1.4 seconds is the difference between a clean departure and a pursuit. Your hands are at 10 and 2. You have been sitting here for 47 minutes. Nothing has happened. Nothing is supposed to happen. You are the contingency. Your role begins when everything goes wrong. If the job goes right, you drive to the pickup point, collect the crew, follow the route you rehearsed 11 times, and park in a second structure where a clean car is waiting. If the job goes wrong, your role is to not exist. You do not go in. You do not call. You do not circle the block. You leave. You leave the car in the structure. You take the bus home. Your cut is 10%. You will never know how much 10% is until after the job, because nobody tells the driver the take. Level 2. The lookout. You are on a rooftop across the street. You have binoculars, a radio, and a burner phone with one number in it. Your job is to see what the cameras do not. A patrol car changing its route. A security guard taking a cigarette break 4 minutes late. A light turning on in a window that should be dark. You are the immune system of the operation. You detect anomalies. The problem is the anomalies you cannot detect. An undercover unit in an unmarked car. A silent alarm that pings a private security firm instead of the police. A neighbor who cannot sleep and is watching the street from her kitchen. Your cut is 12%. Your risk is the lowest of anyone on the crew. You are never inside the building. You touch nothing. Your DNA is nowhere. Your risk is also the highest, because if you miss something, everyone else pays for it, and the crew will not remember that you were right 99 times. They will remember the one time you were not. Level 3. The entry specialist. In movies, this is the hacker, the person who sits at a laptop and types and the vault door swings open. In reality, the entry specialist is a person with a Hilti DD350 diamond core drill who spent 6 hours in a utility room boring through 70 centimeters of reinforced concrete in the dark while wearing ear protection that does not actually protect against the sound of industrial diamond cutting through rebar at close range. Your ears ring for 3 days after every job. You cannot hear your phone at normal volume. You tell your girlfriend it is tinnitus from a concert. She believes you because the alternative is unbelievable. Your job is the door, and the door is not a metaphor. The door is a physical problem. Steel, concrete, electronic locks, magnetic sensors, pressure plates, vibration detectors. Each one requires a specific tool and a specific technique and a specific amount of time. You have rehearsed on mock-ups. The mock-ups cost $11,000 to build, and they are 80% accurate. The other 20% is what the blueprints did not show. An extra layer of mesh, a sensor that was added after the building's last renovation, a bolt pattern that was changed during manufacturing. That 20% is where your 6-hour estimate becomes 8, and 8 becomes the dawn shift arriving. You enjoy this. That is the part nobody discusses. 6 hours of drilling is not monotonous if you understand what you are cutting through. The moment the drill breaks through the final centimeter, you feel it in your wrists. A shift in resistance, and the bit drops half an inch and the dust changes color. That is the cleanest moment in the entire operation. No ambiguity. No trust equations. Physics. You solved a physical problem with physical tools and it worked. The mastermind will never feel this. The driver will never feel this. You are the only person on the crew who touches the problem, and the problem does not lie. Level 4. The inside man. You have worked here for 8 months. Security guard. Night shift. You applied knowing what the job was for. For 8 months, you have swiped badges, walked corridors, nodded at cameras, brought donuts on Fridays. Your supervisor wrote you a satisfactory review. Your coworkers know your name. On the night of the job, you disable a motion sensor and leave a fire door unlocked. Your cut is 20%. It should be higher. You carry the most exposure of anyone except the mastermind. Your face is on camera. Your name is in the database. Your background check is on file. The first question any detective asks after a heist, who had access? You had access. That is what you sold. After the job, you continue working for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of walking past the door you unlocked. 3 weeks of drinking coffee in a break room where your coworkers discuss the heist. You nod. You say crazy. Your left eyelid has started twitching, not from guilt, from adrenaline withdrawal. The body expected the crisis to continue. The crisis ended. The eyelid did not get the memo. You cover it by rubbing your eye when it happens. Nobody notices. Nobody ever notices the inside man. That was the job description. Level 5, the mastermind. You designed this. Target, timeline, crew, contingencies, split. You recruited every person because you understand something about each of them that they would prefer you did not. The driver has a gambling debt. The lookout has a warrant in another state. The entry specialist needs money for a reason he will not discuss. The inside man has a daughter who needs surgery his insurance will not cover. You know this because a mastermind who does not understand motivation will be surprised by decisions, and surprise kills heists. Your cut is 40%. The crew thinks this is unfair. They are wrong. But your 40% is not for the plan. Your 40% is for the 2 weeks before the job, the weeks where you drove the route yourself at 2 a.m. twice, and the second time you noticed a camera that was not on the blueprints, and you redesigned the exit in 40 minutes at a kitchen table with a pencil and a gas station map, and nobody will ever know that the job succeeded because of a 40-minute pencil sketch at 3 in the morning. That is what 40% pays for, not the plan, the revisions to the plan that nobody sees, the split. This is where heists die, not during the job, after. 5 people in a room with cash and percentages that were agreed upon before the adrenaline and are being reconsidered in its aftermath. The driver wants 12 because the exit was harder than planned. The entry specialist wants 18 because without him there is no entry. The inside man wants 25 because he is the one still going to work tomorrow morning. And the mastermind watches the math unravel and understands that the most dangerous moment of the entire operation is not the vault. It is 5 people who no longer need each other trying to agree on the price of trust. But the split is not the end. The split is the middle. The end is the money. 100 million in diamonds is not 100 million in cash. It is a bag of stones that no legitimate dealer will touch, and every fence will discount by 60 to 80%. Your 100 million is now 20. The fence takes his cut, another 30%. Your 20 is now 14. Divided 5 ways, your 40% of the original 100 million is now 1.1 million, before expenses. The cars, the drill, the mock-ups, the fake IDs, the 8 months of the inside man's salary, those come off the top. You planned a $100 million heist, and your personal take, after the fence and the split and the overhead, buys you a decent apartment and 3 years of not working. 3 years. For a job that took 2 years to plan and carries a sentence of 25. The math does not make sense. It has never made sense. The people at the table cannot do the math because the math was never the point. The point was the drill breaking through the last centimeter. The point was the moment the vault opened and the room was full and the air smelled like old paper and metal and possibility. That smell. That is the thing that does not appear on a balance sheet. That is the thing that makes them do it again. Antwerp, 2003. A crew of Italian thieves spent 3 years renting an office in the same building as the vault of the Antwerp Diamond Center. They studied 10 layers of security, infrared, seismic, magnetic, a lock with 100 million combinations. They defeated all of it. Estimated take, over $100 million in diamonds. They were caught because the crew leader pulled over on a Belgian highway and dumped a garbage bag containing envelopes, tape, and a half-eaten salami sandwich. A man walking his dog found the bag. The police matched the DNA on the sandwich. 3 years of planning, 1 lunch. Hatton Garden, 2015. London. A crew drilled through a vault wall over a bank holiday weekend. Take, 14 million pounds. Average age of the crew, 67. The youngest was 59. The entry was professional, a Hilti DD350, the same drill you just read about. Everything else was what investigators called enthusiastic amateurism at a professional scale. One member drove his own white Mercedes to the job. He also tapped his Oyster card on the tube that night. The job worked. The getaway worked. The split did not. 2 members returned to the vault without telling the others to take more. The distrust was on CCTV, men arguing in pubs, pointing fingers. When police arrested them, several cooperated immediately, not because the evidence was strong, because they were angrier at each other than at the prosecution. Banco Central, Fortaleza, Brazil, 2005. A crew rented a property near the central bank and operated a landscaping business for months. They dug a tunnel, 78 meters, reinforced, air-conditioned. They removed roughly $70 million in cash over a weekend. The tunnel was flawless. The discipline was not. One member bought a fleet of luxury cars in cash. Another bought 14 houses. In a country where the average salary was under $400 a month, a landscaping employee purchasing a ranch and 3 Hilux trucks attracted attention. The tunnel was the heist. The trucks were the confession. This is the pattern. Every heist that works is an engineering problem solved correctly. Every heist that fails is a human problem ignored. The vault has 1 combination. The crew has 5. 5 appetites, 5 fears, 5 calculations about whether loyalty pays more than betrayal. Trust divided by greed. The answer is always less than 1. That is not cynicism. That is the actuarial table of every crew that ever split a bag and called it partnership. He gets dental.